Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my 7th update, yet another update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan. This past month has absolutely flown by, so I can't even believe that we're sitting down to chat about all of my progress already, but I'm here for it. I am so excited to share with you what each one of my focus eyeshadows is looking like, kind of talk about my experiences with them, and share with you on the screen some of the looks that I have created as well. This project pan was created by my friend Alexi. I'll of course have her link down in the description box because she is the creator behind this amazing project pan. Overall, with this project pan, my ultimate goal is to really hit pan on as many eyeshadows in my collection as possible. And it has been very consistent this year for me. I've been able to at least roll one eyeshadow out every single update, and that is kind of my goal. That's one of my hopes and dreams with this project, is every single month to hit pan on eyeshadows for my collection. And I'm excited to say that I will be rolling an eyeshadow out today and rolling something new in. This color story is just beautiful. It's very fresh, it's very springy, it just feels very vibrant, and I think I've been having a lot of fun over these last couple of weeks with this project, feeling really invigorated because I do have a little bit more mental space to be able to sit down and kind of play with makeup, but also just because the diversity of this color story allows me to explore different types of tones, different textures, different types of color palettes. It really is a beautiful, beautiful color story. So let's hop on into each of these individual shades, where I'm at with them, how much I've used them. The top shade right here has been in the project for collectively now 3 total months. And it is called Bolero, which comes from the Nabla Soul Blooming palette, which unfortunately is a discontinued palette, but this color is a beautiful matte coral, like a pinky kind of coral shade. And it has been in the project for collectively 3 months now. Previous to today's update, I had reached for it 25 times. I've now reached for it an additional 8 uses, bringing me to 33 total uses, and I still do not yet have pan on it. That's Bolero right there. There is most definitely a dip happening. Like, it's very evidently used. It's right here. Very, very evidently used, and yet still no pan. And I think it's still gonna take me quite a few more uses in order to hit pan on it because it's very densely packed. It is quite a deep pan as well. You can see the ones that I do already have pan on. It took quite a bit of digging to get down into there. So yeah, I don't know what my fate is with this one. Usually I don't like to leave eyeshadows in for like 3-4 months at a time, but I don't know. I've been loving reaching for this palette as a whole, and I really think that by the next update, I should be able to hit pan on Bolero, so I'm going to work my butt off and try to make that happen. I am wearing it today as a very soft blush. I put very, very little onto my cheeks because I didn't want the coral to contrast with all of the warm tones that I have going on, all of the like more neutral tones. But I have worn it as a blush a handful of times. Primarily, I do just wear it as a crease color, and yeah, been getting very substantial use out of it. Been really enjoying reaching for this palette collectively, and hopefully we will have a pan for my next update. The next shade is one that has also been in the project for collectively 3 months at this point, I believe. Let me just kind of double check. Yes, it has. It is this stunning metallic fresh green shade. It comes from my Juvia's Place The Magic Mini palette, and the shade is called Buzzo, and it is just a dream eyeshadow in my opinion. Like, this color is just, if I think about the kind of shades that I like to wear, the kinds of shades that I gravitate to, it's this color right here. And yet my uses were not really reflecting that. Previous to today's update, I'd only reached for it 8 times, and I've now reached for it 4 additional times since I last updated this project, which is good. At least I've reached for it like half as many times as I had previously. So I've used it 12 times collectively, and here is what the palette is now looking like. This is Buzzo right here, and I do have a pan on it now, which is really, really great. On my 12th use of this eyeshadow, actually, I used it as a nail polish, and so I used just quite a large volume of it, and that's how I was able to make the progress that I did. So there is a little bit of pan showing up right there, kind of offset from the center of the pan. I don't know if you can see it, there it is. But yeah, really happy to see another pan in this palette. I wish this palette was looking more loved because I've had this since like late spring 2020. And at this stage in the game, I kind of wish that it was looking more loved, but it's wild to me because I have used this so much. I reach for this palette very often. I absolutely adore the metallic formula in here. And yeah, it's nice to see another pan, and I will be rolling this out of the project today. And I think that it's like the perfect time to be rolling this out as well, because this is more of that fresh kind of spring summer kind of tone. And I really want to move towards these more grungy kind of shades like what I'm wearing today. And so it's the perfect opportunity to roll this out and hopefully randomize something in its place that is more on the vibe that I want to be on these days. Super happy after 12 uses to be rolling this guy out. And then the next shade here is absolutely stunning. Stunning. This high shine metallic green gold kind of shade, this just opulent, like very rich shade right here, the third swatch, comes from my UOMA Beauty, the Black Magic Allure palette, and it is just such a stunning palette, especially going into this time of year. I've had this eyeshadow now in the project pan for 2 months collectively, and previous to today's update, I had reached for it 6 times in that first month, and now today I've reached for it an additional 5 times, bringing me up to 11 uses. Today is my 11th use of this eyeshadow. I have it all over my lid, and I just love the way that this bounces the light. This is the palette that it comes from right here, and I'll show you what it's looking like today. But of course, this is Allure right here, and you can see it is most definitely used. There is quite a dip happening in there, but no pan yet, and I'm okay with that. So there's what it's looking like there. I'm okay with the fact that there's no pan on it because I'm actually so excited to use this palette for the coming few months. Well, hopefully it only takes like 1 or 2 more months. This palette contains some absolutely gorgeous colors and textures, and so I've been really enjoying reaching into it. And Allure is absolutely no exception to that. It has been so fun to reach for Allure. Like today, I'm just really digging it with these warm tones, but I've worn it with the coral shade. I have worn it with that green underneath of it. It has been just a beautiful color to focus on, and I'm really looking forward to reaching for it at least 5 or 6 more times in the coming month, and hopefully playing around with it in a variety of different ways as well. Such a stunner, and really enjoying it, but no pan as of this moment. Next up, we have this kind of smoky purple metallic shade. It comes from my Fenty Beauty, what is it called? Galaxy palette? I don't know why I just was like blanking on that, but it's the Galaxy palette, and the shade is called Ultraviolet. This eyeshadow is one that I actually ended up randomizing in place of a different Fenty eyeshadow. So I've now had it in the project for 2 months, and last update I had reached for it 5 times, and this month I was slacking hard on it. Slacking really hard. I only used it twice, and I only used it twice within this last like week. I kind of forgot about it, and I don't know how that was because it is a really beautiful shade, and I really wanted to improve my usage on it as opposed to using it less, but here we are. And so after just an additional 2 uses, here is what Ultraviolet is looking like. It is that shade right there. You can obviously see there's a dent, there is usage that has happened on it, but no pan. However, I think probably tonight or tomorrow night, so like even before this update goes up, I'm going to remove my nail polish that is all chipped off, paint my nails purple, and paint this on top and see how that looks, because I do think that's gonna make a really great fall kind of nail color. I think I'm gonna paint my nails with it, and I may actually be able to hit pan on it by applying it as a nail polish and then maybe using it an additional 1 to 2 times. So my hope and dream again with this one is to hit pan on it by my next update. Will I be able to do it? I'm not entirely sure. I definitely need to amp up the usage as opposed to this past month, but these check-ins are always really important to just kind of see where I'm at and realize how I can improve if I actually want to see the progress that I'm wanting to see. So yeah, not the best progress this month, but it is what it is. And then next up, these last two shades here I rolled in my last update. So the first one is a kind of icy metallic purple. It comes from ColourPop and the shade is called Prowlin. It was a single shadow that I bought years and years ago, and it did not have very much evident use on it whatsoever, because purple is kind of like the lowest priority, or like the shade that I'm least drawn to, you know what I mean? So I just never really used it that much, but I'm happy that it did get rolled into this project pan to kind of force me to play with it, especially in tandem with Ultraviolet right above it. And I've used it now 6 times since I rolled it into the project pan. That does feel good. That's definitely an improvement over probably, honestly, I probably hadn't even reached for it 6 times in the entirety that I had it in my collection. So here is what it's looking like today. There's a little bit of a dent happening in it, you know, some obvious wear starting to appear, but ColourPop eyeshadows are very, very densely pressed. They also are quite deep, and so this will take me eons and eons to be able to actually hit pan on. Next update, I'll have a little bit more of an inkling if this is something that I want to roll out after 15 uses, or if this is something that I want to just kind of persist, or that's not the word, persevere and continue working on for the remainder of the year, quite possibly. That's how long I think it would take to hit pan on it. But 6 uses in, I have really enjoyed it, and I think it just makes a really beautiful inner corner kind of shade. I've also really enjoyed layering it with that coral color to create like this kind of soft lavender look on the lids, and I thought that was really beautiful. But as we're moving into more fall time, I'm not sure how much more I'll be doing that kind of look. But overall, it has been really fun to bring this to the forefront and to figure out how to reach for a shade like this. And it'll be a while before I hit pan or a usage goal on it. And then lastly is the shade that I actually handpicked and rolled into this project last update. It is from my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, and this is the shade Riff. It's a beautiful, just warm mid-tone brown. Super, super easy kind of eyeshadow to wear with a variety of looks. And going into the fall time, it was something that I just felt like was perfect to reach for. And I'm happy that I decided to pull this into this project pan, because in fact, I have reached for it 11 times already. So I'm making really great progress, I feel like. Here is Riff right here. Obviously, I don't yet have pan on it. The Born to Run eyeshadows in general, but especially the mattes, take a lot of energy and effort to actually hit pan on. So I'm probably only like a third of the way into the journey that I need to take myself on for this palette, or for this eyeshadow rather, to actually hit pan on it. I think it will take about 30 uses to hit pan. I have it today on in my kind of crease, outer corner, lower lash line. I do also have a bronzer running through my crease. And then I didn't have any bronzer on, but when I sat down to do these swatches, I ended up just throwing this on as a bronzer on my skin, and I think it works with this like more warm look. But on a day-to-day basis, I don't really ever want to dip into this as a bronzer. It's just a little difficult with a small pan, and I have other bronzers in my collection that I actually want to use as bronzers. But today it just kind of fell into place well to use this, and I'm happy I gave it a shot. It's not a bad eyeshadow for using as a bronzer. But overall, 11 uses I think is very great. That's very substantial, and that is one of my higher kind of uses. Like generally I use my eyeshadows under 10 times each month because I'm trying to rotate through all 6 of my focus eyeshadows in addition to using just other eyeshadows for my collection. I'm really happy that I did actually end up deciding to roll this in on my own. I was a little hesitant that it was the right decision for me, but this past month has proven that it actually was a great idea, and I'm really happy. And so that's a wrap on all of my current focus eyeshadows, but because I did hit pan on the shade Buzzo, which is that beautiful green there, we will be rolling something new in its place. So let's do that together right now. I have all of my eligible eyeshadow, just have to wipe it, I know my screen's dirty. Anyways, I have all my eligible eyeshadows in a wheel on the Tiny Decisions app, so we can kind of just pull this together. So let's just do it. Let's just get my next focus eyeshadow selected. Alrighty, so we have the UOMA Beauty Black Magic Allure Romantic. Okay, so I have that palette here right now. Let's just take a look. If that is the coral shade, before I look into it, if that's the coral shade, I won't use it because I do have the coral from Nabla Soul Blooming, but it might be the berry actually. Oh, no, it's the coral. It's the coral here. I can't use that as well as the one from Nabla, so I am going to actually re-roll. So we are going to pick something else instead. And in its place, the new focus shadow is going to be from my ZC Alice in Wonderland palette. I never reach for that palette, so actually this is perfect. So I've pulled out my ZC and Alice in Wonderland palette here. The shade that I selected from this is the shade number 6. I am a little nervous to look into this and to see which eyeshadow it is because this does have like a bright orange, it has like a red, some teals. It is a very vibrant eyeshadow palette as a whole. So I'm a little hesitant. Here is what the color story looks like without it. So this could change up pretty dang drastically with the new shade. As I said, when I rolled this in, I haven't used this palette very much at all. This past month, I reached for it for an orange eyeshadow and it was really beautiful. So I'm excited to get more use out of it, but I'm stalling because I am a little bit nervous. So let's just make it happen. So I know that there's like large eyeshadows on the side. That's gonna be one, and then I'll like move across like that. So let's do this together. I think I didn't put shade number 3 into my spreadsheet because I'm never gonna use that on my eyes, and especially not in this project pan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 6. Man, why am I so confused? I think it should be this one, this shade right here, this like checkered blue, minty kind of color. You know what, I'm gonna go like that. It will be a challenge to hit pan on this, without a doubt. This is a minty kind of silvery blue shade, which will be kind of fun. Definitely does change up the color story quite a lot, but it has a really beautiful formula that I am excited to play with and to play with in tandem to the rest of the eyeshadows in this palette. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. I think just if I'm gonna start with one as the tall one on the other side, then that should be number 6 on the other side. I think logistically that makes sense. Let me know, which way would you have gone? But yeah, as you can see, this palette does not have very much usage at all, and I've had this for over a year in my life. So I'm looking forward to definitely remedying that, getting to know this formula a little bit better. Here is what the focus shadow is looking like today. Yeah, hardly used at all. But hopefully in the next couple of months, this will look a little bit different. And overall, I'm really looking forward to reaching for this palette as a whole. But that is what my color story is looking like. It feels much more muted, much more soft and delicate and feminine now than it did without that, like with that bright green. It just really has a totally different vibe happening now. And I really am enjoying it. I'm excited to see some new pans in the coming month. I think that there should be a pan on the coral, hopefully, and ideally a pan on the Fenty eyeshadow, as long as I remember to use it as a nail polish, which I'm thinking will be like this weekend. Like it's gonna happen in the next couple of days. But otherwise, I think everything else we'll just be seeing more progress on. Potentially I'll roll something out if I hit my 15 uses and I feel like it's just nowhere near pan, but overall, I really do want to hit pan, so we'll see. I don't know. Those are my predictions. That's what I'm thinking for the coming month. But in any case, that is absolutely everything for today's video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of my progress and all of my looks. Let me know how you would pair these colors together. Let me know if there's any kind of looks that I should create from these colors. But yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for watching and for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.